I'm Hassan Mwangi. I'm the Executive Director, Latewa Community-Based Organization. Environmental conservation is an abstract term. It involves whole spectrum that is encompasses of all activities that are geared towards mitigating climate change. It can be waste management, it can be tree planting, and all those efforts. Our environment has always been degraded for years. Back from neocolonialism and post-colonialism, we talk of, environmental degradation in terms of mineral excavation and all that, plundering and pilferages. So through that, the environment that we have inherited has never been in the state that it is. So it is upon us to always keep restoring it, protecting it, and conserving it. So we as an organization, we've taken upon ourselves with the efforts that are, simple but can impact our community. We can't generalize our environment, but we have to look at the lifelines of our environment, and rivers are our lifeline. So as an organization, our efforts are, geared to river regenerations, because rivers are the source of water, and water is life. So if we can narrow our activities towards the things that affects us directly as a community, we are able now to change climate adaptation in our favor. By bringing our communities at the pivotal level, whereby they are able to understand that their efforts goes a long way in eradicating the effects of climate change. Definitely, I'll agree to that. But now we are trying to see ways in which communities can, be placed at the center of not just the conflict, but the solution-making table. How can we live with, mining in this itself? So you find that maybe coal mining. How can we eradicate that while, the essence of it is basically to help communities, in social-economic terms, maybe offering employment, but in real sense, it affects the climate of the community itself. Take, for example, of the Kwale community. So what we are trying to say is, as a community and mining industry come together, come up with, resolute ways of how they can harness potential in terms of mining and environmental conservation and protection. So around the area that we occupy, we find that a lot of communities live along the riparian land. So you find that they've not only encroached on the river, but they are now the main polluters of the river itself. So by coming up with an holistic approach, whereby the communities can be, taught ways in which this river affects their livelihood. So by this, we are able to shift positive behavioral change towards now river regeneration programs. To us now, art is a form of expression. So we use art to, to express what is in our community and how best we can come up with resolute ways to harmonize our living. So for example, if you look around the facility that we are right now, we are trying to come up with resolute ways in which we can turn waste into a product that can fetch value in the market. Therefore, in turn, it can provide opportunity in terms of incentivization. So by that, the waste cannot be channeled down to the river. So by this, you find that the communities are at the center placed in the ways in which rivers can be regenerated. We have different art techniques. So we have mannerism, we have abstract, we have fine art. All that, we have artists that, undertake such activities. But what we are trying is to narrow down that art to have a social economic impact. So what am I saying? How can we, because art is a broad term, but how can we now use art to communicate what happens in our community, but using that art to come up with now solution? Thus we are talking now of not only art, but upcycling, using now art to add shelf life to our waste product. So if you look around, we have papers, we have waste tires. So through that, we want to transform that waste into something that can fetch value. So by that, we are talking of adding a shelf life to our waste. Our most recent and our most iconic one is called the Tree of Life. It's a mosaic. We normally do it to organizations that, support environmental conservation. It's a mosaic, but basically it's made out of recyclable waste and all things that are waste. The essence of it actually is to highlight and disseminate information on matters waste management and environmental conservation, but using now art as a medium of expression. What we ought to understand is that matters environment has been a preserve for the government for the longest time, and we are here because of our own mess. We are a hands-off generation. We don't want to do anything. Everything we leave it to our leaders, and the government will take care of it. But now we are looking of how we can initiate positive behavioral change, and by this we need people who can come up with people-centric initiative like these, so other communities can actually adopt and emulate from what we are doing. So we are using this as a prototype. It's the first of its kind. As Latewa, we not only speak of our community, but because the area that we inhabited, actually in industrial area, being in a wider now Starehe constituency, has a solution uniquely to itself. You can't compare, industrial area to, Ruai, to all that. By being in industrial area, we need now solutions that are strictly tailored to this geographical area. So by saying that, we are trying to come up with initiatives that can bring in different players from all these fields that come up with one solution or intervention. As communities, we are trying to come up with ways in which we can bring in different stakeholders that can help us, even in Nairobi South or in Starehe, have clean air quality indicators. So by that, we will be measuring the air quality within our surrounding. So by that, it gives the information to the communities to realize the environment that they are living in. How is that affecting their livelihoods, and how is it impacting their lives? And my parting shot would be, matters environment is our responsibility. No one can come and help you eradicate the waste in your area. It's upon ourselves to take it upon ourselves and come up with local-led solution.